And very bad luck again with the weather down here in South Florida. What a tournament this has been. First of all, the first day or the second day of competition was cancelled because of the wind. Then they've had all this rain that have cancelled sessions, and Betsy Nagelsen, the court, has also supplied some problems.
Well, I think, Fred, you can expect some bad weather in South Florida, and they've had more than their share during this event. In fact, it's by far the worst in the history of the Lipton tournament. But the added element of the court bubbling was totally unexpected. They had a beautiful sunny day, and it delayed the entire afternoon until 4 o'clock. And, you know, the players are sitting in the locker room waiting, and it's just very frustrating for everybody.
Well, I think we've all been to a lot of tennis tournaments, and we've never had a day that have been thrown out because of the wind, and then with all the elements this week, it's been very difficult. Today was supposed to be women's semi-finals day. They've tried on 6 occasions to get that match underway, and we'll talk about those matches. Betsy, the first one, Graf and Sabatini.
Well, Fred, they've got such a rivalry. They've played 34 times, and of course Graf it holds the heavy edge, but Sabatini has won the last 8 times they've played. She's a heavy favorite here in Florida, and she's beaten her twice right here at Lipton in the last 2 years. But I do feel Steffi Graf is playing some of her best tennis right now, and Sabatini is short of match play, although she's had a couple of good wins here to get herself to this position, and I see this as a real good battle. Kimiko
Date from Japan, a surprise semi-finalist here, goes up against the title holder, Arantxa Sanchez-Vicario.
Exactly, and of course Date, an unexpected semi-finalist. It was Jennifer Capriati who was due to be in that section of the draw, and she was put out by Judith Wiesner, and then Date beat her and then went on to beat the 4th seed Mary Jo Fernandez. So she's playing very good tennis, and in fact they're very similar styles. Sanchez-Vicario, who is the defending champ here and loves playing here, both very scrappy players, move very well, and I see that a real battle from the baseline.
Steffi Graf, who is the top seed here at the Lipton Championships, is leading Gabriela Sabatini, the number 3 seed, by 3 games to love, and that represents 2 breaks here in the first set. Take a look at the scoop here, Mary.
Well, again, this rivalry is so interesting, and all the times they've played, so many of them have had to go 3 sets. As you can see, Graf has won most of them. There have been tie breaks all over the place. Sabatini is a very good tie break player, but look at that last one, which we happen to have going here right now. Graf leads sets 1 at love. She's won all 6 of them. She's working on one now. In fact, a couple of years ago against Sabatini, she had a love set, and you may remember she came out of the blocks real strongly, as she's doing now, before losing that one in 3 sets.
She has a 15 love lead in this game and 3-zip.
Sabatini, she's a good, she can be, if she's moving well enough, a very difficult wind player because she's got a lot of angles and she knows how to use them. She's got all kinds of spins and speeds. This is the Camp Sabatini. Dennis Ralston in the white cap. Only been her coach for about 10 days now.
Steffi's already won a couple of sets at love during this tournament against Arendt. That was 6-1, 6-love. And then against Natalie Toziat in the quarterfinal, she plays as though she was double parked in that match. Very quick, 6-1, 6-love. And she started up that way in this one.
Well, you may think back to the Wimbledon final of last year, Graf over Sellis. It was the same type situation. There were stops and starts time and again because of the rain. And it was Graf who was quicker out of the blocks each time than Sellis, and that's why she beat her so easily, so convincingly in that final.
The bad news for Steffi Graf is that she's lost to Sabatini these last 2 Liptons in the semi-final, and Sabatini in both cases came back after losing the first set.
And one of those she lost 6-love in 1991. Graf won the first set 6-love and then lost a very close tiebreaker in the second set, 8 points to 6, and then Sabatini went on to win it.
30-all. Game point here for Graf to go ahead 4-love. Steffi Graf has only lost to 2 people here, but lost to Everett 4 times and Sabatini a couple.
And in those 7 Lipton appearances, she's never lost before the semis.
Actually, I should say she lost twice to Everett. She beat her twice as well.
Come on.
Last year's Lipton, I really felt strongly that Sabatini was going to win the match, even after the first set was over and Graf had won it so convincingly, because I remembered what had happened the year before. This time, I don't have that same feeling. It's a different circumstance. This week has just been too crazy with the weather. So has this day been crazy, but for Steffi Graf, she now has a 4-game-to-love lead in the first set.
Well, in last year's Lipton, it was Graf who really should have won it. Lost 7-5 in the second set tiebreaker. So very closely contested matches the last 2 years here. The white caps on
Small
the bay.
craft warnings must be in effect.
You would think so. Oh, what a shot. That nearly took the net court judge's cap off. The serve out wide. Watch the net court judge here. This one goes down the line. Look at that. That woke her up. Out there again, a beautifully executed forehand.
Sabatini lives here in Key Biscayne. She's playing like she's still at home. She has not made her way to the stadium court yet. Love 30 in this game and 4 love to Graf.
Shot you like, Mary.
Yeah, that's my favorite shot of hers, actually, the backhand down the line. And the fans here trying to get her into this match are happy that she's finally got herself a winner. Unfortunately, they're not evening out the errors that Sabatini has made. It's still a pretty young match, and she's already had 7 unforced.
Another 2 break points for Graf.
Go.
Another one.
Nevertheless, a good play from Graf to put the pressure on Sabatini. She is very much in control of the set.
Well, it's a good time, Cliff. You know, Graf had a couple of chances to win the game. It's nice to see that she decided to try to win it from the net. But again, that's Sabatini's best backhand.
The tactics that Dennis Ralston, Sabatini's new coach, has given her is to try and get to the net. Break points there. Graf 2 of 6.
She has got another one too, Fred. So this set is about as close to over as doesn't matter. 5 games to love, Graf. At the Lipton Championships, it is Steffi Graf, the top seed, who's leading 5 games to love. Hasn't lost a game yet. Hasn't really looked like she's in much danger in this match at all so far. Deja vu, remember, this has happened before twice in the semi-finals and Graf ended up losing. But as I said, I don't have that same feeling today. This is Graf serving for the set. The match is really on this young lady's racket, isn't it? And she could turn this around, but she has really got to want to do it. She's got to fight the conditions. She's got to fight the fact that they have been on and off this court 4 times before the whole thing got underway now again.
But it's really Graf who's gobbling up the court a lot more than Sabatini. She's made some nice plays into the net. She's forcing the issue. She's getting the short balls and punishing them. Sabatini's best shots have really come on defense in passing. She's not going to win this match trying to do that.
Runners wide, so Graf has got 3 set points here. In fact, Sabatini has got more margin for error than Graf on really both sides. You can see the lights here. The stadium has been turned on. Early evening. That is wide, and Graf has won the first set easily. This partisan crowd would like to get more involved in this match, but there's not much to say at this stage if you're a Gabriela Sabatini fan, because it's been all Steffi Graf so far.
Well, they'd like a lot more match. It was only a 22-minute first set, but it was a match that was supposed to have started 5 hours ago. So yeah, I think they are hungry for a little bit more.
You've got to give the fans a medal today, though, don't you? It's been miserable conditions. They've tried to have this match underway this 7 times. They've been on the court 4 times, but the court actually has been squeegeed off and right out 7 times, and showers have come back every time.
It's a clean court.
Yeah. Rather funny, because I even thought the guys with the squeegees were getting into pretty good rhythm.
Look at that, boy.
Yeah, only 5 points on serve, broken 3 times, hasn't won a game yet.
That's some pretty good volleying. But she's going to try to dictate the match. Vamos, Gabi, as her fans are exhorting her. She should come to the net more. She had to make a very tough stab volley there from mid-court. And that gave her the easy put away. But she hasn't put together any points in clusters enough to gather herself up a game.
Double fault, 15-30. While you're handing out medals, Fred, I think we should give medals to a lot of the fans here who have stayed through this mess today. Yeah. And then how about the biggest one of all, to tournament chairman Butch Buckles? He's still here. He's still, believe it or not, after all of this nonsense, got a smile on his face, and nobody could have been beset with more problems than he has. Just before we started here, some fan came up to him complaining about a seat or something. He said, "Would you like to be tournament director of this affair?"
Sabatini's serve is never a weapon, and even when she's spinning it in at 55%, which isn't a terrible first serve percentage, she's still only winning 18%.
18% of first serve.
Of first serves, yeah. She's doing better on second serves when she's really spinning them in and not, you know, getting a little extra kick on them.
So another break point for Steffi Graf. First game, second set, and Sabatini still trying to hold serve. Hasn't held yet, as we already pointed out to you. You know, the interesting thing to me watching her serve now, she's throwing the ball further out to the right, but she's still coming across it too much. If she's going to throw it out to the right, she's got to hit the ball flatter to hit it harder. She ducked to let it go out, and it did not oblige, so she is broken again. 7 straight games for the top seed. Monica Seles is #1 in the world, 14-10 points. Then it is Steffi Graf at #2. Martina Navratilova behind her. Navratilova has already won a tournament this year. She won in Paris over Monica Seles in a big surprise. The only match that Monica Seles actually has lost. Steffi Graf has played very well this year. She just won a tournament last week, and she's in good shape here at the Lipton. Mary Jo Fernandez and Arantxa Sanchez Vicari, who's still alive, round out the top 5. Then Gabriela Sabatini is number 6. Conchita Martinez of Spain, as you can see, she has 570 points, followed by Jana Novotná of Czechoslovakia. Jennifer Capriati, who was surprised here at the Lipton, has 500 points so far on the craft tour. And then number 10 is Amanda Kutzer at 479. Now back to Graf Sabatini. Steffi Graf, 6-love, and now 1 game to love with a break in the second. She's about to serve here in the semi-finals of the Lipton Championships. Let's take a look at that last point again here, Fred.
And this is the backhand half volley. He comes over the top of that one. That's straight at Sabatini, and she just couldn't control it. Look at the way she moves in there. This one comes straight at her, so she decides to duck. She was in no position to play a volley, and it was well in. And so Steffi Graf now yet to lose a game.
Fred, I think she could have taken a swing at that thing, and probably should have. She just must have thought it was going long, don't you think?
I thought the wind played her again. She wasn't ready for it, straight at her. Dennis Ralston, I think, is probably looking. He left a worried look on Coach Ralston's face there. He's taking notes, and he obviously can't be too pleased at the moment.
Love 15.
She cannot be playing a better match, this woman, Steffi Graf. From every department, her game is red hot, including her serve. I mean, she's taking pretty big swings at the ball, too, and she's even having to check her toss on a bunch of them. She's got her backhand slice working. She's got her ferocious forehand at top speed, and her service has been very strong, too. With all this wind, a remarkably high per serve percentage for Steffi so far. I mean, look at that. Against Toziao last night, she won very easily, only lost a game or two, and it was 50%. Tonight, it's 83 in this wind.
You were saying there that she came into the press conference with a big grin on her face saying, hey, I can't remember playing this well, and Steffi doesn't often do that.
Well, that's the remarkable part about that comment she made. Steffi is one of the most self-critical players I've ever listened to in a press conference. And she couldn't wipe the smile off her face.
Long. There's a break point. 2 of them, in fact, for Gabriela Sabatini. She's trying to get on the board. Hasn't won a game yet in the match. Graf saves 1.
101 miles an hour, that flat serve right down the tee.
She does throw the ball up very high on the ball toss, doesn't she? Graf, watch this again. I mean, this is probably 6 feet above where she makes contact with it. Look. Long.
Pretty much out of the picture, that ball toss, and 2 big first serves when threatened.
That's why she has a pause in the swing here. The serve swing. Watch. Pause. Deuce. I actually talked to Hans Grunhardt about that today before they got out here, and he said, what about that big high ball toss, especially in the wind? He said, look, you know, if you try to change that, then you also change the rhythm on the serve. And he said, I just don't want to mess with that at this point. In practice, she's serving very well.
I think it's a good point.
I do too, but in the long run, if I was her coach, I would say we are going to bring that thing down by 3 feet. I really would.
Then you'd be replaced.
Maybe. So Graf has won another game. Sabatini still not on the board. 6-love and now 2 games to love. Having a lot of trouble with the wind, both of them, I suppose, although Steffi Graf, as you said, Mary, is really playing very well. You can see the trees there behind the stadium moving pretty good, and that's because of all the wind that we have here. I'm saying 25 miles an hour, maybe up to 30 mile an hour gusts.
And Graf is hitting right through it all.
Yeah, the style of play, you would think that Graf would have more trouble with the wind than Sabatini, because Sabatini can, she does have a more variety of shot, hits with the slice and can hit the top spin off both sides, but not today.
She just can't get one either, can she?
Can't get a call. Everything is just barely missing.
Look at this.
Well, we always know that's the most vulnerable part of Sabatini's game, but that's it's still pretty remarkable numbers.
She's only served 4 times. Every time she served, she's been breathless. I really have the feeling that it's also a case here of unconscious lack of interest on the part of Sabatini, having gone through this tournament and everything that she's had to go through today.
I don't know. I just think this match has been entirely decided by Graf. You know, I think Sabatini would love to get her teeth into it. She wants to perform well before all of her fans.
Yes, she needs to get into some rallies, and she just has not been able to do it.
15:30 here. Well, that's why I said unconscious, because I think that she's obviously giving it the best that she has on the day, but boy, it kind of takes the edge off that real desire, isn't it, when you...
In fact, the only guy, the only person in both draws, and it's been a kind of tournament with very difficult conditions. I think the only guy who really tanked was Mark Rosset tanking that final set to Patrick McEnroe. I mean, that really didn't look too good at all. But again, there's an awful lot of things to fight in the tournament to be set with so many weather problems and court problems.
31.
Sabatini. It's better than all the others she's hit so far tonight. She sliced it pretty heavily, and it stayed deep. She got better length on that one. In fact, it wandered right into Graf's body.
Listen for this crowd reaction. If, in fact, she's able to win this game, it'll be her first. She's the number 5 ranked player in the world. Graf is number 2. Again, not more than a foot long. She just can't get one.
Trying to play it into the breeze because she knew where Graf was attacking the net. Trying to throw it up, make it a little more difficult for Steffi, but again too deep.
In general, the wind is blowing from the right of your screen to the left, but don't hold me to that because it's swirling also. Short second serve and dealt with
pretty severely.
Yeah.
You get him that short, and you get him that short with an explosive forehand. Look at Graf, as we mentioned earlier. She is hitting that forehand as well as she ever has, and she hit that one from inside the baseline, about 6 feet inside the baseline. Head of the racket, stayed on the ball, and now another break point opportunity.
Could also get frequent flyer miles, you know, for how far she is off the ground when she makes contact with that forehand as well. I mean, that's a foot in the air. She's flying. Break point again.
Very important game, this one, for Sabatini, because if she can pin Graf to the baseline as she did in that rally and work with the wind upset the momentum of the Graf backhand on that occasion, she could get into this second set. But if she loses this, a long way home.
Short day at the office.
You always look for a silver lining for someone who hasn't won a game yet. And for Sabatini, the truth is that, as you mentioned, for a couple of years ago when they played, she lost the first set 6-love. She was down in the second set. She came back and won it, and then easily won the third. So, taint over yet.
Well played. Sabatini really ran away from that passing shot. She was forced to play that from way behind the baseline. What's Sabatini here? There's the volley. Look how far back she has to go to play that passing shot down the line. So your opponent at the net really gets a pretty good look at where you're going.
Could just as easily have gone over that one. The ball not dropping for Sabatini today at all yet. Break point for a second break in the second set. Shot, didn't she? Straightened it out. The slice was gone on that one.
The first time that we've seen Graf really flatten some passing shots, and she's hit a couple of topspin backhands, and that's got to be from confidence, Mary, the way she's playing.
Yep, it really is. It just says it all that she can go for shots like that. Sabatini's still without any success. Graf, of course, has broken her every time so far.
Watch out here. Second serve.
She's trying. You know, she's trying hard to get something going. You can see it.
It was a pretty good second serve, actually, that one, because had it been anywhere down the middle of the court, Graf would have cranked up on a forehand.
Sabatini has become known to be a very tenacious battler, even when she's not playing well.
Deuce.
She's going to need some help from Graf, I think, if she's got any chance in this match. Graf's game must come down a bit. Kissed the net and gave Graf a little bit of a harder volley than she would have liked.
Yeah, she had the little dink covered, but when it touches the tape, it moves back about another 6 inches or a foot and caused the error.
Wait for it, folks. It's game point Sabatini.
man. Her third double. Couldn't have come at a worse time. Because this will pretty much, this could pretty effectively keep her from any chance of winning the match. Very hotly contested game.
Another break point for Steffi Graf. You were saying moments ago, Mary, that the game would have to go down a little bit if Sabatini would come. Is that the same as going off the boil?
Fred's famous boil, yes.
It hasn't even simmered tonight, though. Deuce number 6. It's actually number 7. Statistician Dr. Levin.
Point for Sabatini. So this key Biscayne crowd happy with this turn of events. Finally, Gabriela Sabatini, one of their own, is on the board, 2-1. Ladies semi-finals, Crandon Park, Key Biscayne, and the fact is that the players have had to endure yet another rain delay. Come back in this match now at 2-1 in the second set, but it was a very easy first set for the number 1 seed, Steffi Graf. She has a break, leading 2-1 in the second. Question is, how will the rain delay affect either one of these two?
Normally, you know, you'd think the person who just won the last game would have the momentum going for them, but in fact, Graf has come out much cleaner than Sabatini during all of these rain delays. And in fact, it took Sabatini so long to gather her wits just to win that one game that I got to think that this will help Steffi. Seems both tried to center the ball a little bit to gauge the way the wind was behaving in that last point. That one won by Sabatini. Perhaps now she'll try to hit a little closer to the lines, having figured out the wind.
Graf in general is a much faster starter. We talked about how quickly she plays in all the matches here early in the first set. She's got away to a very quick start. Sabatini, again, right where she left off, just missing by a fraction on most things that she has tried so far.
High ball toss, and that wind blows it again about from right to left of your screen. Game point, Graf. Had a long conversation here during the rain delay with all of the announcers from, we've got ESPN International folks here sending things to Argentina, Brazil, etc. And we've got the Germans, Italians, about who actually has the better wind game between the two of them. there's some disagreement about that among the troops.
Normally, I'd give the nod to Sabatini with all of her spins and everything, but Graf, as we've been mentioning, has been handling the conditions much better. She's hitting hard and clean, and they're staying in.
Yeah, the question was asked that if, with the games, the respective games, who should have the best game in the wind. Graf has the best game in the wind, but Sabatini's style of play with the topspin, normally topspinners handle the wind a little bit better than somebody that has slice and hits the ball very flat. But obviously the wind has not bothered Graf, and doesn't do it very often anyway, because she hits that forehand so well and hits through the wind. Same thing with Agassi when he played here early last weekend in windy conditions.
Sabatini has a better margin for error anyway.
Exactly, higher percentage.
Yeah. With all that topspin. I mean, that's true whether it's a windy day or not. I suppose for the old Steffi Graf it wasn't that good a start for the year, but really brought it all down. She got to the final at the Australian Open in her first tournament out, losing to Monica Seles in the final. And then she won last week the Virginia Slims of Florida. So she's coming off a win over Sanchez Vicario and Anke Huber, her country woman.
That's one way to keep the partisan crowd quiet. That is to keep in front, and Graf has done that very much so today.
Gabi not working tonight though. Sabatini here in trouble again. Another break point against her serve. She's only won one game in the match so far. Lackadaisical second serve with that ball toss way out to the right. It hurt her that time. Graf in control, 4-1 second. Number 1 and number 3 in this tournament playing against each other in the semi-finals. It's Graf and Sabatini. Graf very much in control, serving with 2 breaks to serve behind her in the second set. She didn't lose a game in the first. 4-1.
Frames it, and it's still a winner.
Yeah, the wind carried that one away from her, didn't it? She's lucky she got that right up on top of the racket.
Big part of the story tonight. And another is out. All the unforced errors.
Another close one.
There's the hint of more rain in the air, so Graf really wants to get off the court before any more rain falls down tonight.
There's a lot of people want that to happen.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Get this match over. It's been on and off 6 or 7 times throughout the day. Going to be driving the players crazy. This
Double fault. Sabatini, the Graf volley almost had to go up. It wasn't a very well played volley anyway. Made for an easy passing shot. Here's a chance for Sabatini at break point. If this match ends up being like a 6-love 6-2 or 6-love 6-1 or 6-love 6-3, it'll be the biggest spanking that either one has given the other in a match in their history, and they've played all those times, 33 in all. There have been a couple of 6-3s, 6-3s, and even a 6-2, 6-3, but never this bad a beating one way or the other.
Yeah, never when a player would be able to dictate the momentum for an entire match. Usually they break it up into sets or partial sets anyway. Not so tonight.
I think one of the reasons for that has been the rain interruptions. Every time they've come back, it's been all Graf. Sabatini has not been able to get into any rhythm at all.
Game point Graf to go up 5-1. Again, remember, we've got a severe wind out here tonight. 15, 20, up to 30-mile-an-hour gusts is my guess. And high ball toss of Steffi's and another double fault from her. Of the Argentine shoulders.
Well, that's a favourite shot.
Yeah.
We've seen her hit about 3 or 4 clean winners off that shot. She was not pressed on that occasion, and she's just a little upset with the way things, a little befuddled with missing that. That was an easy one for her.
Wind looks like it's blowing in Steffi's hair, but it's not bothering her. was a good lob just out of reach. Graf got to it, but it presented a great passing shot opportunity for Sabatini. We're back at deuce. She won the first set 6-love. Normally the first half of the year is Gabby's most productive. Of the 25 titles that she has, 19 of them have come in the first half, with the major exception of the only Grand Slam that she ever won, which was in the second half of the year in Flushing Meadow at the US Open.
Wouldn't you like to think that now that Sabatini has made a coaching change in Dennis Ralston, that it could inject a little bit of new life and energy and enthusiasm into her game? Sometimes just a new guy, a new coach, you know, can turn things around for you, give you a fresher look at the game and at, you know, at what you want to do in it.
One on the line, but in that rally, Steffi Graf came over a backhand return, and she's tried over the last 12 months to get that topspin backhand. We've seen about 4 or 5 of them today, and that's as many as we've seen in a match. I think it's a good sign.
Tells a lot about how confident she is in the rest of her game too. She feels like she can go for that. A fine return. She's threatened the return, challenged it. The serve of Sabatini just about every time she had a look at one this match.
That's why Martina Navratilova, when she was at the top of the game in tournaments in the early rounds, was able to just practice her entire repertoire of shots.
By the way, we hope Martina Navratilova is getting better. She turned her ankle playing a pickup game of hoops 2 days ago. She's on crutches right now, and hopefully she'll be all right. She's not going to be able to practice till next Friday, and hopefully she won't have to pull out of Amelia Island, the Baal Shalom that ESPN will be covering.
So, Gabriela Sabatini has won another game, 5-2, second, but she lost the first. Ladies singles here at the Lipton Championships that you're watching. We're at the Key Biscayne facility called the Tennis Center of Crandon Park. It used to be called the International Tennis Center. Mary, this is how the singles rankings on the Virginia Slims Tour stand.
Monica Seles very firmly entrenched in the #1 spot. Steffi Graf. Martina Navratilova has taken over the #3 spot from Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. Gabriela Sabatini is #5, rounding out the top 10. Pretty much whom you'd expect, really. Jennifer Capriati, Mary-Jo Fernandez, and Conchita Martinez. They're always pretty much right next to each other. Jana Novotná is 9, and Manuela Maleva-Franier finish off the top 10.
Well, Sabatini is in so much trouble here. Down 2 breaks of serve to the #1 seed here, Steffi Graf. This is Graf to serve. 1 set in hand, a couple of breaks in hand, and maybe moments away from winning it. 4 points to go. Crowd would like to see this match go some longer, as you can tell. Every time Sabatini wins a point. And there's a relatively sparse crowd now. If this match had been played when it was supposed to be a lot earlier today at 1 o'clock, the place would have been jammed. Sabatini's had a few chances, not that many, not near as many as Graf has on Sabatini's serve, but she's had a few on Graf's serve. As you know, here is another one in this game at love 30, but it's 15-30 now.
There was a freebie there because there was just no follow through, and that was a very bad miss.
Point for Steffi Graf. The other semi-final match will be played between Kimiko Date and Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. So if Graf wins this one, she'll play the winner of that match in the final. That is why Steffi Graf has beaten badly 6-love and 6-2 Gabriela Sabatini.
Puts her through the final. A pretty impressive performance in the win. The match took a long while to get over. Lots of rain delays, but Steffi Graf's got to be happy with that form. She's into the final and possibly a rematch with Arantxa Sanchez Vicario of a tournament when they played against one another a couple of weeks ago.
So a straight set win for the top seed in the tournament. 6-love, 6-2. An easy day for her here at the Lipton Championships. The semi-final women's singles is over. Graf the winner. She's in the final. Won this tournament in the past. And when we come back, Mary Carillo will talk to the winner. So she won the last tournament that she played, the Junior Slims of Boca Raton. She has now beaten Gabriela Sabatini and is in the final. She's going to talk with Mary Carillo now, courtside. Mary?
A very difficult day, Steffi, and after about 6 hours of waiting, the whole match only took about an hour. How were you able to dismiss Sabatini like that?
Well, first of all, it was really difficult out in the wind, and I think that helped me at the end because she had a lot of trouble timing her shots with her topspin. So it was a good thing for me that it was that windy, actually. But other than that, I didn't really make too many mistakes. and I was really aggressive and everything.
We've seen you win love sets from Gabriela and still lose the match. In fact, that happened here a couple of years ago. Did you think about that at all?
Yeah, I did actually. After winning 6-love, I said I don't want to do it like 2 years ago when I lost that match. So it's just try to have a good beginning in the second set, which I had, and I concentrated really well the whole match. That was important.
You were saying in the press conference yesterday how pleased you were. Big smile on your face describing your current form, and you've kept it up yet another time. Any reason why perhaps you found this kind of form?
Well, I've been practicing real hard, and I think I needed a tournament to win, which I did just before that tournament in Delray, and I had some good tough matches there, and I think my confidence built up on that, and I just go for my shots a lot more now.
It sure shows. Thanks a lot, Steffi. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Mary. 6-love, 6-2. An easy day for Steffi Graf over Gabriela Sabatini, the number 3 seed. And she is in the Lipton final again. Steffi Graf of Germany, who has a place not far from here. The women's draw looks like this now. Graf is through to the final. Will take on the winner of Kamiko Date, who will play Arantxa Sanchez Vicario of Spain. Date beat number 5 seed Mary Jo Fernandez, and also in the same section with Jennifer Capriati, the number 4 seed. So a big surprise that she is in the semi-final. She's played very well so far, but now she's up against last year's winner, Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, the holder of the Lipton Championship. We're going to show you some of the match between Stefan Edberg and Peter Korda of Czechoslovakia.